up, Noles? How is everybody? Good to be with you. The Seminole Headlines here on Warchant TV, live in Orlando. There's the camera.
There it is.
That's Corey. That's Ira. I'm Jeff. You're you. Cheers. Thank you very much. Good to see you guys. Good to be with my boys here at Hooch in Orlando. Hopefully you guys can hear us. If not, get closer.
Not too close. Don't rush the stage. Don't rush the stage.
Quite the turnout. I think one really good year has turned this fan base back into the rabid fan base they always were for many, many years of dominance, and that's a good thing. So applaud yourself for coming out.
Thank you very much. Thank you for real.
Appreciate you. Cheers again. Where do we want to start, boys? Where would we normally start? We could thank Warchant, of course, our boss, G. Williams, and we could thank Tom for his hard work and everybody behind the scenes here who did the right thing and helped out and got us set up. Now we can just talk about the game itself. Feel any differently after a camp that was well played? Any of you start?
I was going to say, Travis Hunter's still really good. I found that out today. Holy crap. And yeah, Dion, you don't take the number down, right? You can say you've honored Clifton Abraham or Samari Roll or somebody like that, but keep the number 2 retired.
But I also wouldn't lead to that. So let's just talk about
let's go with Florida State. Okay, sorry. My fault.
Corey does things his own way. Yeah. He finds the thing nobody wants to hear about. He says, let's start there.
Zero's in on it. Zero's right in on it. You kind of like the politician that answers the question they wish.
I want to answer.
Yeah. That's fine. No, great camp for Florida State. Let's just start with that. 3 of us were out there. I was out there the most. Corey's second most. I was third. Ira gets the award for most. I didn't say I said Ira. I wasn't out there the most. You thought I said I was? No, that would have been funny.
That would have been a lie.
I actually should have said
would have been an absolute lie.
But yeah, no, we got to see plenty of it, and they're really good. I think the other thing that stands out about the team is that they're kind of just quietly confident. They're not saying shit about shit. It's just like straight. I know a couple of guys late in camp, when asked about their teammates, talked glowingly, obviously, about it. But I think for the most part, they are just really, really confident.
Yeah, what's cool is talking to a lot of people here today how confident Noles are.
Yeah.
And if that's our fault and things don't go well, blame Jeff.
Blame Jeff.
We were trying to slow it down a little bit.
Sure.
But no, Florida. I mean, there's reason to be excited. This is a team that was good last year, won 10 games, and now it's better than it was a year ago. And we like you said, we're out there practice. They're playing at a really high level. We want to see what LSU has, but Florida State's going to bring it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember certain years where I thought a team was bad, they turned out to be good, or I thought a team was good, they turned out to be bad. It happens occasionally, but I think we're, by the way, all 3 of us really think this team should win 10, 11 games bare minimum. I mean, I think that's true. Right?
It goes to what Ira said. They won 10 last year, and they didn't have Keon Coleman, who is ridiculously good, folks.
You guys are going to like Keon Coleman.
I mean, holy moly. And then Braden Fisk, they didn't have him. He's very, very good. Yeah. Fintrell Sight, I'll go on and on. The offensive line has all these crazy amounts of starts. They won you'd replace Pokey Wilson, who, God love him, he helped you win the LSU game last year. A couple of great catches. And played on some horrible FSU teams and made some big plays, so good for him. You replace him with Keon Coleman, and you replace Cam McDonald with Jaheim Bell. You've just taken these huge step ups to what you had last year, and you were pretty darn good last year.
And you have a deeper offensive line, more versatile offensive line than you have. You have a really confident and healthy Trey Benson, who last year took a while to get going. So you have a lot of guys that really make this team go, but also there are a lot of guys trying to get paid. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think you got a lot of guys who understand.
This is not the time to bring up Battle's End. We'll do that later in the show.
But on that point, though, that was like the one concern. If you went back to what we were talking about last December and January, when all these guys were saying they were going to come back and run it back for this season, a lot of them did get NIL deals. And so we wondered, okay, is that going to affect the chemistry? Is that going to affect how hard they work? And that has not been the case at all. I mean, they've worked as hard, they've practiced as well, they've fought as well together as they have at any time since they've been there.
That's probably the most remarkable thing, because you have a real difference in pay scale for some of these guys and other guys. There's no other way to say it.
Right, there isn't.
And the bottom line is you never notice it. You never notice about guys' jealousy or anything like that.
Entitlement or anything like that.
You never see it. They worked. A lot of the guys who got paid for lack of a better term, are guys who led the way in terms of hard work.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Travis had an exceptional camp.
Yep.
He was phenomenal. I think you could look at any number of the guys that they're counting on. Jared Verse had a great camp. They rested him some, but obviously when he played, he dominated. You never saw anybody treat practice lackadaisically. And sometimes you worry about that if a guy's getting paid and he knows he's really got about 4 games he's got to show out. Yeah. You could take that mentality. Most guys don't like camp, but they didn't. They came to work every day.
Jordan Travis, to me, is one of the most amazing stories in college football history because, and that's what I wanted to say is, every time you see Jordan Travis on the field or whatever happens, show him that love because he didn't get it 2 or 3 years ago. And he fought through it. He grew up a Florida State fan because Devin played baseball at Florida State. And when things were bad, he stayed loyal and wanted to get better and get better. And I'm telling you, and these guys will tell you too, he's playing lights out. There are days at practice where Jordan looks incredible. We got to see him carry it over to the field, but I believe he will because of what we saw last year.
He's one of the best players in the country. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Right now, I'd put him just a tick behind Shadir Sanders from Colorado.
Can you push him off the stage?
I'm about to push him off the stage.
Just go away.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. You've got Keon Coleman, Benson, Jaheim Bell, Johnny Wilson, Destin Hill. Holy moly with that kid.
Yeah, you can start in on that. Justin Hill's been amazing.
But all of it comes back to the guy pulling the trigger, like calling to be in the signal caller. And Jordan Travis is as good as maybe Caleb Williams, but other than that, he's as good as anybody else in the country. So you've got that dude on top of all the weapons you've got around him. So, look, I don't know if they're going to win tomorrow. I think they are, but I know they're going to have one of the best offenses in the United States. And I don't think there's any question if they stay healthy, they are elite on offense.
Yeah, and it's because of the consistency that Jordan plays with. So I don't think you'll have to worry about that. I think if you're in a tight game tomorrow, it's because LSU's good. There's nothing wrong with that. These are 2 top 10 teams. It should be a good game. And it's also because they've got guys on scholarship that are really getting paid as well. They're going to be good players, but it won't be because your quarterback lets you down. I don't really see that in the equation at all. Ira's right about praising him and how good he's been. By the way, I don't want to keep going without saying thank you to a couple folks here. First of all, Shane, James B., where are you guys at?
They're right there. They're holding their hand. Well, James B., hold your hand up.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Carter, thank you. Eric, thank you. Where are you guys at? Also, Carter and Eric. There's Eric. There's Carter. Thank you. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Also, if anybody has questions, we'll get to them. Fire them in the chat, or you can walk up here and ask us. Either way, that's fine. Because a lot of times we can kind of get on a narrative and stay there, but if there's things you want to know, we certainly have the information regarding players and who's looked good. And the other part about the camp that I think is important to note, they came out of camp really healthy.
Yeah.
And I think you got to go back to that because they ran a hard camp.
Yeah.
They really wanted to be physical. And, there's a difference between the old school physical and modern physical, but I don't get caught up in that anymore. The bottom line is they had a physical camp and they came out healthy. That's huge because you had a lot of position battles.
Yeah, and if you look at these teams that we've seen this first weekend, we've seen a lot of teams that, have some sloppy moments this first weekend. We'll see how Florida State looks, but I think they're going to be pretty clean offensively. They've been and they do a lot of one-on-ones, good on good, and they've been pretty clean. Like there's been 1 or 2 practices where maybe you see some false starts or a couple penalties here or there, but they've been pretty clean. And if they play a clean game, I just like their chances.
Don't you think they're at the place now where if Florida State plays well, they can beat anyone? Right. This team can beat anyone in the country. If they play poorly, they can still beat a lot of teams. Maybe not Sunday night. They have to play well to win Sunday night. But if they play well, I mean, they've got a defense, offense. My man Fitzmagic just making kicks all over the place. We'll knock on some wood there.
Are you trying to jinx people?
Yeah, but I mean, their ceiling is really high, like championship level high, if they stay healthy and play well.
Yeah, I brought up in the offseason when we talked about the additions.
This isn't wood, by the way. That hurt my hand. I thought that was wood I was making.
You really could probably sleepwalk through about 8 of these games. Right. I mean, we'll see what Miami goes on to do. They looked good last night.
Probably sleepwalk through that Florida game.
How about them Gators?
Yeah, there you go. That's a big touchdown they scored.
Well-oiled machine. Well-oiled machine down there.
He's got that thing rolling, gang.
Yeah,
he's got that thing rolling.
So early in the season, you'll hear your Gator friends mention that They're very busy on the weekends. Yeah. They want to spend some time with their family.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. They can't watch every game. They're going to have to embark on that one. No, but I think you go back to health. You go back to the consistency, the level of talent. You're right, Corey. I think that they could probably ease their way through 8 or 9 games. You got 3 or 4 games that you're going to circle and say, all right, they got to play really well. And the thing is, oddly, as excited as we all are for this game, this is not ideal. Like, I don't know that you want to play this game first, but they are, and somebody's going to win it. And I do think Florida State practiced in a way that suggests they should come out sharp.
Yeah, I think when you look at LSU, and that's the challenge. Sometimes on our website, we'll put up articles about some of the key players for the other team, and people are like, why the hell are you putting that up there? But you got to realize that the other team's good too, and LSU's got some big-time talent, some 5-star talent. They're going to make plays. Like, this is not going to be a game where Florida State just goes out and handles them. LSU's going to make plays too, but I think Florida State, because the edging quarterback and because the overall depth and quality, I think Florida State's a better team, but LSU's got some big-time players.
I would love to be delusional, though. I'd love to allow myself to believe that Florida State can win this game by 24.
Right.
30. Yeah. I don't think it's going to
Tate Rodemaker, Travis has got the hat on in the fourth quarter.
You want the talking
playing.
points from the national media to be like, well, good Lord, what do we have here? Because I will say this. In 2013, we knew the team was good, but I don't know that the nation knew.
Right.
And that Clemson game changed the narrative for the rest of the year.
It was really the Maryland game, I thought. The Maryland game is when they made believers out of almost everyone.
But we all, like that going into that season, we knew that was going to be a good team, but we still have questions about Jameis. Like, we had heard all the stories at practice. We knew he was talented, but until you saw it that night against Pitt, and then obviously the Clemson game, you're like, oh, this is different.
And also, you didn't know Kelvin was going to be that guy. We hadn't seen that Kelvin yet. And you've kind of got like Kelvin Light and Johnny Wilson. Like, Johnny Wilson's a freakazoid, and I'm not sure he's the best receiver on the team. I got to keep reiterating, guys, and I hope he doesn't have 2 for 17 tomorrow. Keon Coleman is an NFL wide receiver. Keon Coleman is really, really good. Like, I knew he was good because you put up the numbers at Michigan State in a real conference, but he's really impressive.
And you're all going to get to see Destin Hill in person.
He really exists. He exists.
Destin Hill exists, and he's good.
He's good. He's going to be awesome.
He doesn't just exist. He's effing good.
That would have stunk if he waited 2 years and then was not any good.
Yeah.
But no, he's really, really good.
We got some questions, so we'll get to it. First of all, the chat wants to know what the hell you're drinking.
It is a neutral. It's a classic cranberry neutral. It's a little vodka seltzer, guys.
Seems about right.
I like
Cheers.
Corey didn't know what he was drinking.
Yeah, it's fine. They hand me things. I put it in my mouth.
Hey now.
Sorry.
We want to know, somebody wants to know, is it a Cat 5 maintain? I would think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're on the road. It's got to be a Cat 5 maintain. You got to kind of keep it together, everybody.
Well, from talking to some people last night, they've already blown that out.
Yeah.
Some people blew that last night, and I have a feeling some of you guys are going to blow that tonight.
Yeah, 2 nights in a
tomorrow,
row.
I don't know.
What gives you that sense?
I don't know, man. I just got a feeling.
Noles fans,
People are enjoying themselves.
Yeah. The thing is, though, you're allowed to get loose tonight. You're allowed to get loose last night. Tomorrow, you got to keep that shit together a little bit. Just keep it together a little bit. That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, oh, man, thank you, Mark. Where's Mark?
Where is Mark from? Mark from Naples.
Mark,
somewhere.
I know I saw you. Mark, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Check that out.
Oh, look at that, man. So that's what it is.
Smoking Moon.
Yeah.
We got, do you run to set up the pass or pass to set up the run was the question.
I think it's going to depend on what LSU does. I mean, if LSU sits back to worry about Florida State, look, the big concern LSU fans and media, and I'm sure the LSU coaches have, is how their secondary is going to handle FSU's receivers. So I think there's a chance they may play back, and if they do, then I think Florida State's going to run it down their throat to set up the pass. But if they come up to stop the run, then I think it'll be the opposite. I think Florida State can do whatever they want.
I really want LSU to challenge Florida State's receivers because I hope
they're going to lose. They'll
lose that battle. Florida State is finally equipped to win a bunch of one-on-ones.
If you were coaching LSU, you'd have 2 safeties back.
Oh, I'd be protecting my corners. I'd have 2 safeties back. I'd make you earn it. I'd make you put together 10, 12 play drives because a lot can go wrong. Ball can get on the ground, penalties, you can buy the chains. I'm not letting you exploit a weakness of mine. In an LSU, the weakness is corner. Now, we'll see just how weak. I mean, the one kid is a real burner. The other kid came in from Syracuse. He's an okay player. They're not bums. Right. But they have not had a stellar camp, and there's not a lot of depth there. And that's really the bigger concern. Florida State's ability to run tempo, guys, that's something we should talk about. I think Florida State, every week of the year, should run tempo if they can, because they can do it by not having to change personnel, and you don't allow a defense to substitute. So at that point, you get tired guys. You wear that defensive line out. You get Perkins in coverage against Jaheim Bell. Get them worn out. Let's go.
That's fine, but don't give Adam Fuller shit when the defense is giving up points. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't know we could cuss on this. You guys are a little loose with the language. My son is here, gang. He doesn't ever hear language like this.
Sorry, Brady.
This is crazy.
No. It'll be a points per possession argument.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. We'll do the points per possession argument, so we won't look at totals. That way you'll feel better, and I'll say, well, okay, this is what we gave up points per possession. But no, honestly, if you do run tempo, you're right. Expect the scores to be kind of funky. I mean, I'm talking about big picture. Like at the end of the year, you may end up averaging, giving up 24, 27 points. But if you're winning games 50-27, nobody cares. Now, if you're not running tempo and you're still giving up 28, 31, 30, then we got a bigger problem. And that's really the mystery of the game. The mystery is not Florida State's offense. Like you guys said, they can kind of pick what they want to do. They can do it any way they want to. It's the defense. How much better are they because of the front? That allows you to do more things behind it. You can be more multiple behind a front like this that can get after the passer. That's what I'm most excited to see. You'll protect your linebackers that way as well.
Agreed.
Any of you guys have questions? Anybody that's close by that we can hear? If you do, just shout or raise your hand or something.
Does Corey have champagne picked out for the wrap for you two guys? You got champagne?
I don't. That was a once in a lifetime. You know, when you get a chance to beat Syracuse on the last second field goal, that's champagne worthy. By the way, so I wrote a column that I guess will be on the site tomorrow or later today about, you know, it was less than 2 years ago that we were celebrating a last-second win over Syracuse in ironic fashion, like just being goofy about it.
Yeah, Bronx.
Not really celebrating.
Yeah.
Like in less than 2 years, they're about to play a top 10 matchup with the best defensive end in the country, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, elite receivers everywhere, experienced good corners. Like the strides this program has come in less than 2 years is kind of remarkable when you think how down in the dumps, and I mean Jacksonville State was as down in the dumps as any program can be. To be where they are now really says a lot about.
But you're not going to pour champagne on your head for it. It's not good enough.
No. I'll pour some cranberry neutral.
I'm actually proud of them for not pouring champagne.
I think every game Corey should pour champagne.
Well, you like to make him look like a fool, and that's fine. But
I do it myself.
But I would say this: if Florida State once again is operating at peak efficiency, they win games like this all the time. We don't pour champagne for beating people.
I expect better. I did it from the 2021 team. I didn't expect that at all.
Now, these are the kind of games we expect, by the way, to win. By the way, just so you know, as of right now, 50% off a Warchant membership, which runs through Monday. So if any of you slappies don't have a Warchant membership yet, let's get to it. It's 50% off.
Now's the time. Now Gene's happy.
Now would be the time. Yeah, Gene knows 50% off. It's a beautiful thing. Cheers. I'm getting offers from beer. I like it. Also, 10% off of every Garnet and Gold purchase when you become a Warchant subscriber. So there's another reason. Besides,
it pays for itself, gang.
Not only do Ira and Corey write great pieces, but my pretty face is frequented in video.
It is.
On Warchant TV and Warchant.com.
All the time.
You get opportunities to see a good-looking guy like me and great writers like you.
Right.
Shit. I don't know how you could not do that. So you got to join the most passionate fan base in all of sports, right?
Amen.
You got to do it. Other elements of this Florida State team, you referenced it earlier. We should have probably expounded. They had a good kicking camp, boys.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, again, let's not.
Did. You nervous?
I'm just not sure anybody's going to believe it until they see it.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to make the kicks in the game.
Right.
You do have to make the kicks in the game for people to believe it. I got it. But you have a better chance of doing that if you're confident when you take the field. And the only way you're confident when you take the field is if you made some damn kicks in practice. And he did make a bunch. And so did Keltner. So I think they actually have two guys that had a good kicking camp. They both took turns having kind of a bad week at one point, but I think Fitzgerald won the job.
He definitely did.
Won the job. I don't know about definitely.
He did. He dominated that competition.
You're getting a little bit robust.
Kid needs to take it back to Johnson City.
You wouldn't want that.
I know. You don't want that. Yeah, no, he's a Nole. He's a Nole.
Yeah. So you have all that, but I mean that's important. If we think this game's going to be close, you'd like to know you can make a damn kick.
By the way, we should give a shout out quickly in the opposite corner of us is Sammy Smith, who came in the 1985 recruiting class.
That's correct.
Was an All-American and is a proud Florida State Seminole.
He's back in that corner. Right
he is a Nole. He is selling books. Go buy one. Get a signature from him. He is a proud Nole and a proud 85 class.
He walks around saying I'm proud of 85.
I think he was a class of 85. He changed the program. Those guys started the dynasty.
I don't think he does that.
He does. I just
says
talked to him.
I'm a proud Nole.
He's a proud member of the 85 recruiting class.
85.
Tomberlin, the whole gang.
Oh, look at that.
Oh man, are you drinking one of those?
Yeah, he's going to drink one of those.
He hasn't opened that one.
Yeah, I'm going to do the beer.
Oh, okay.
It's a.
Corey said this is good, so I'm going to have it.
I mean, it's drinkable.
So cheers to Sammy Smith.
Yes, absolutely. Cheers to Sammy Smith. Great FSU, great All-American.
There it is. Can he hear us? I don't know.
He's talking. He's selling books.
Yeah.
You sell those books, Sammy. I will say this. I've been coming to games. I came to games when Sammy played. You did too.
Yeah, I did.
Since before Sammy played. It's good to be back in a situation that we found ourselves with those great teams.
Yeah.
It is good to be back coming to games with this kind of energy.
Yes.
When you think about it, even New Orleans, they really showed up. It was awesome.
But that was more for like the trip, and it had been so long.
This feels like
this is like expectations. Yeah.
I think it's legit. And listen, you were talking about how quickly it turned around. Hopefully you brought stock in Mike Norvell a year or two ago because it's just going to continue to ascend. I got asked a question yesterday, guys, walking around, and I'm kind of curious. Do we think Mike Norvell is here for the long haul?
Well,
I do. I think you're right. Do you think Mike Norvell is here for the long haul?
Yeah,
What's the sense that you get?
Yeah, to me, the only way anything would change is if something changed at Florida State. Like if the leadership wasn't supporting the program. But he's not one of those. He's not like some coaches who always have new demands.
Hey.
I think the thing that's been cool about watching Norvell and the way he operates is he does have demands. There's things he wants, but it's things that are going to help the program. It's not just about power and money. It's about what can help the program. So I think Florida State's the job he wants. I think and everything's in place. That's the thing that pissed me off about Jimbo is he didn't appreciate that Florida State's got everything in place for you. The talent base, the resources, the tradition.
the media. Yeah,
Seminole Headlines.
Seminole Headlines was there for him.
At practice, we're talking to Jimbo Fisher, and he doesn't take the time to think.
He did not appreciate us.
Ira and Jeff and Corey out here.
He didn't care. Hey, enjoy those idiots in College Station, Jimbo.
My point is, I think he believed he could go anywhere and have a lot of success, and we'll see how that goes.
So the reason I bring it up, not only because I was asked, but I also think this, man. Mike really, he's either a really good poker player in this instance or he's genuine. And I'm siding with genuine. And what I mean by that is I think he likes it at Florida State. I think he really appreciates what they've done. I mean, and the reason
most normal people would.
I think that's right. I mean, I think you're right. If you're well-adjusted, he came at this job at the right time. I think he would have been too immature about 3 or 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I think that he's maturing into the coach that we're going to want him to be right before our eyes. And part of that is appreciating what you have. Well, and I sense that.
And I think it's important for everybody to realize that he had opportunities for other jobs, including SEC jobs, that he didn't have an interest in because he didn't think those were the good situations. And he did think Florida State. That says a lot. Man, it's awesome that it's awesome the way it's coming together. Yeah. And it's not just the transfer portal. Right now, the recruiting class is number 5, I think, in the country. If they keep winning games, that class could be a top 5 recruiting class. And that was like the one last thing everybody wanted to see was could Mike Norvell recruit that quality of player? Well, if they have a good year, he's going to show he can.
Well, and the opportunity to really pounce on Florida's misfortunes.
Yes.
I know we're all broken up about the Florida Gators.
I think that's 4 losses in a row.
It's a beautiful thing, right? I mean, so that team is 12-18 in their last 30.
Yikes.
What Florida is.
That's not good.
That's not good. And you got to do better than that. Most people expect more than that. By the way, one of those wins is against FAU. 2 of those wins are against FCS schools.
Yeah.
So this is a program that is in disarray. But they have some kids in that class that Florida State was fighting for. You got a chance. There's no doubt. If Florida goes down in flames, and it surely looks like they will, you can add to this already really elite class, and you eliminate an option for kids in the state.
Yeah.
For years, Florida State, when Florida State was down, all they did was help fuel Florida's run, and vice versa. When those schools are down, Florida State benefits. You buried Miami last year 45-3,
Right.
took back over that rivalry with 2 straight wins. You're a better team than Miami right now. You're a much better team than Florida right now.
Somebody's got bad intentions.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, my. Come on now. All right. Saving those for Brady.
Yeah. Really quickly, Zach, thank you much. Zach asks, given his mediocre passing ability, do we spy Daniels all night? Who would be the spy?
I'd spy him with Jordan Travis.
Daniels.
Yeah, no, I'd spy him with Jordan Travis. Nobody thinks like a quarterback thinks like a quarterback.
I don't think we'll spy Daniels.
I think they should. I would do it. Probably Deloach. Sorry, Tom. Got a real hot
I
mic.
wouldn't do it, and it's not a knock on Deloach. Jaden Daniels is an elite athlete who can make most any linebacker in the country miss. I'm not wasting my linebacker spying him. I think you've got a front 4 that can win, and you keep him in the pocket and make him throw. Now, obviously, there's a guy that if he takes off, he's going to make plays. But it's just not that easy. I'm not saying Zach, but people always say, oh, well, Florida State will struggle against a mobile quarterback. Everybody struggles against a mobile quarterback. Everybody does. Do you think Alabama wanted to stop him from running? I'm sure they did. They couldn't.
Yeah.
And, they've got guys, at least from a draft standpoint, who are better athletes than Florida State, and they couldn't stop him from running around. So, you're going to give up some plays to that kid. That's just the way it is. But I wouldn't waste a spot. I wouldn't waste a player on a spot. That's just me.
All right.
Do you think they do?
What do we think these are, by the way?
Yeah, that's a good
Take a
question.
sip. Cheers. Cheers.
Buddy.
Thank you.
Buddy. Thank you.
Cheers.
No, it's just apple juice.
No, it's not.
Oh, boy. Yikes.
Z-Chan.
Oh.
Oh, man. Z-Chan.
Z-Chan in the house?
Where is
Z-Chan? I don't
Z-Chan?
see Z-Chan. He's not in-
Z-Chan, are you here? Is he back there?
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Thanks for the
Okay.
thanks.
Holy moly. That's awfully kind, Z-Chan. That is awfully kind.
I got a drink for you, Z-Chan, when we're done.
I want to thank Gordon. I want to thank Seth. Have I thanked everybody that is...
How about we thank these people right here?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hey, there you go. Ira, thank you.
I thank everybody here, of course.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I did not miss
I got
those who went above and beyond. That's for sure. That's unbelievable. I think so. Getting it back to this team in this game, I think all 3 of us agree this is a pretty high-scoring game tomorrow.
Let me ask you guys one question. I got a question.
All right, good.
I like it.
What's one thing that concerns you about this game?
Our linebackers getting exploited in coverage. Specifically,
linebackers. Always
He's
a
never
linebacker.
going to not answer
you asked me a
linebacker.
question. I answered the
That's
question.
fine. That's fine. It's fair. It's fair.
What do you want me to do? Not,
Well, and their tight end's like 6'6", 250.
he's going to make
Yeah,
plays.
he's a good player.
His dad is an all-pro NFL player, so
Yes, and I think it's a fair concern, and I would have that concern anyhow, but you're right. Some of it is what LSU's personnel is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I were facing Florida State, obviously I think it's going to be hard sledding on the ground with that defensive front. I'd still try to run, but I would think that it's going to be difficult to have success consistently running. So from there, what can I exploit? I can try to spread them out and have these linebackers try to cover. An elite tight end and a couple of really good receivers. And I think that's what a lot of people will do, but that's not abnormal. I mean, a lot of coaches try to get matchups with linebackers, obviously. Like, don't think that Florida State's not going to try to get matchups where even against good linebackers, and those are two really good they still have an advantage. Jaheim Bell has an advantage against any linebacker in the country, I would think.
Yeah.
So
Any linebacker in the world.
Yeah, so
this is what Corey's dorm room looked like back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been cool to have this guy, though.
what's your concern?
I mean, my only thing would be, if LSU, I mean LSU brought in 5 new defensive linemen.
Yes.
If those guys,
big pressure Jordan.
If that could change things a little bit. But I like Florida State's offensive line, and I think it's an experienced group. It's an older, mature group. I think they're going to be fine, but there's a chance those guys will make some plays and affect the offense a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. The LSU's deep, but the beauty is they lost their best one. For a game because the NCAA is a pretty smart organization as far as I'm concerned, and they suspended a guy for getting money 2 years ago for an autograph. But I think that LSU's defensive line against Florida State's offensive line, if they could dominate or come close, control that line of scrimmage, I think that could be an issue. But I also don't foresee that happening.
I would also say
because they didn't last year, and Florida State's offensive line is better than it was last year.
I will say this: if we're going to nitpick little areas of concern, the interior of the offensive line and pass protection, I'm not in love with. I didn't think Meach was great this camp. And then on the other side, I think he's a good run blocker, but you're a little slow. Casey Roddick's a little slow in pass protection. So I guess if we're going to nitpick some of the finer details of the game, the guards and pass protection.
Hey, enough. The what we have here are lemon drops with a shot of whiskey from Joey Two Guns.
Joey Two Guns.
Thank you, Joey Two Guns.
They call me Corey Two Guns.
Thank you, Joey Two
Guns. I can't. All right, I'll do one more. Come on, gang. It's early. Early for that.
I got one more question for you guys.
Oh, great.
I'm the interviewer.
Do it.
If you met somebody tonight and they asked you to tell them one player that they haven't seen yet that they're going to love seeing tomorrow, who's the one? You can only name one new player on this football team. If you were telling somebody, wait till you see this guy.
Well, it's a tie, right?
You're going to say Keon Coleman.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Yes, he's the answer. He should almost not – he should be excluded. It should be beyond Keon Coleman because, guys, Keon Coleman is the truth.
Yes, he is.
So besides him, who besides Keon Coleman?
I'll go 55. Braden Fisk.
Braden Fisk is the answer. Braden Fisk. You guys are going to love him.
Great motor. Gritty
coach on the field.
He's also strong as hell.
He is he's strong
really and he's really violent with his hands.
Yes.
Everybody watches the game differently. Make yourself watch 55 on some plays just to watch his relentlessness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive. The guy gets after it.
And I will say, too, there's no way we could have known coming off the injury and the fact that he was at Western Michigan that dude was going to come in this camp and be that kind of a story.
I was a doubter. I was a little bit of a doubter.
Yeah, he's kind of a bigger story in a weird way than Keon Coleman.
Yeah, because we knew what Keon was.
Yeah, Keon was a known commodity at Michigan State in the Big Ten, and he had a sorry-ass quarterback throw into him, and he still amassed over 700 yards. So you knew he was good. Yeah. Braden Fisk, we really didn't know, and he's been a star in camp. He has been pretty much every day in camp. He has brought it to where he wins those matchups more than he doesn't. He's tough. By the way, Buffalo Tom, thank you so much. Does the FSU D-line contain or pin their ears back?
I don't know if you can. You can't lose the containment on this guy. Verse just pushes tackles into dudes anyway. Verse, you know what I mean? Like Verse will snatch someone. He's not a guy. He's not Peter Boulware that's speeding around the edge and opening up a huge running lane, right? Like he's a guy that dominates tackles with force.
It's a good question though, because you would like to think you're going to get after him, but they definitely don't want him to get out of the pocket.
But I want him to win up the middle.
Right.
I want him to win up the middle because the statistics, all the advanced metrics say that Jaden Daniels struggles when he's pressured, especially up the gut, because he doesn't have a lane to run in at that point. And he has struggled to find receiver. He's oftentimes taken a sack in that situation. He just hasn't been good. Now, most quarterbacks aren't good when they get pressure at their feet.
Right.
But if you've got a Jared Verse over here and a Patrick Payton over here,
correct,
you're going to want to let them loose. So that's going to be fun to watch how they handle that.
Thank you, Wilson.
Destin Hill is a good answer for that. For guys you haven't seen yet. And what a story that guy is. That's
a huge day, couldn't he?
He could.
Because don't you think LSU might be like, who is he? I'm more worried about Johnny Wilson. I'm more worried about Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I got this Destin Hill kid, and it's pretty crazy to think about. Also, by the way, Wilson says, maintain, boys. Hold.
Yeah.
Hold. Yeah. Appreciate that.
It's not even 6 o'clock yet.
Yeah, I was going to say. Tomorrow on the main Wall Street stage from noon to 2.
That one out there with the country music.
Right out there tomorrow from noon to 2. Warchant game day. Myself and Tom Lang, we will be doing pregame show out there. Cheers. Hopefully we see you out there. Right there from 12-2. It'll be outside of Hooch where we are right now. And tomorrow night, right here in Hooch, hey now, the Warchant Game Day post-game show until 1 a.m. So after the game tomorrow, come back here to Hooch and make sure that you join Tom and Gene. And they'll be doing the post-game, answering calls and all that good stuff.
What is this?
It's a brave man.
What is this?
It's a brave man. It's all right. He's allowed to come
It's
to watch.
fine. And look, they beat Florida in the College World Series. You should love them for that. And they'll be a conference mate in a few years, hopefully.
And also, we don't have problems with LSU fans in general.
No, LSU fans are good people.
Well, because never lose to them, so.
Yeah,
that helps, yeah.
We're 7-2 against LSU, something like that. So, yeah, not much time to get angry with a team that you own. It's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, right.
Own.
Yeah.
Can you imagine after tomorrow? I think it's 8-2 if Florida State wins after tomorrow.
The 8-2, can you name the two?
The losses? The two
Yeah.
losses, 1960.
Oh, I don't know. I know it was 81 was one of them.
One of them's in the 60s. It's a
Yeah.
bowl game.
81 was a long time. It was 81 the last time they lost to LSU?
Yes.
42 years ago?
Yeah, they lost to them in the 60s.
Gas was like not minus 4 cents a gallon. They paid you to take gas?
Sellers caught the pass to take the lead against LSU in the 60s.
Yeah.
And then they came back down and scored late.
Yeah, that's big time. We all remember that.
Sellers.
By the way, in this party tonight, we met some cool people from not just from this part of the state or Tallahassee, people from Washington State.
Yeah, Seattle. He
Air
flew
traffic
in, the air
controller.
traffic controller from Seattle.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. We got Shane and them from Texas. I mean, people, Noles travel strong.
Hawaii as well. Yeah.
Hawaii, that's a good one.
Hawaii.
Brady and Ralph from Hawaii, Brady and Shanna from
Yes, from
Beaufort, Georgia. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a long trek.
it is from Beaufort. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have met a ton of people out here, and obviously that's the best part of these kinds of events. You get to meet subscribers and listeners. I know for us, we've been doing Seminole Headlines for a long time together, and over the years, this has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, more listeners,
Yeah.
and we do have to thank everybody for that, and I mean that sincerely.
Yeah.
And it's always cool to have somebody come up and say they listen to the show and what their habits are when they listen, because people,
It's a lot of walking the dog.
A lot of walking
Listen
the
to you when you
dog.
walk the dog.
I'm always honored by the fact that a lot of people listen to us while they're showering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the
Just
shower.
lathering up.
Oh, Chef Ira and Corey Wild.
Having sex, I think,
Hey,
is one.
all right, Brady's here.
Oh.
Golly.
The cool thing though is when you talk to people who are like, "Hey, I've been listening to you since I was in middle school, and I'm 30
Yeah,
now," and
that's
it's like,
Makes you feel
It's
good.
really bad for me.
You must. I mean,
I've been on the air for 25 years, and I've had kids come up to me who said, I graduated from Florida State 6 years ago, but I listened to you when I was in elementary school. I'm like, son of a
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. I remember you in the car when my dad used to drop me off at middle school or high school, elementary school. I'm like, great.
Did he just retired
That's
from the
awesome.
military?
Yeah. Dude's balding. He's got a mortgage, 3 kids. He's like, I've been listening to you since I was a kid, which is nice. So anyhow, thanks to all of you guys and the people that have come up tonight. We appreciate it. We get set to kind of round it out. Tom's got a couple more questions for us. Let's get to here, boys. Oh, wow. Guys, this is awfully kind of you. Ray, appreciate you, Ray.
Ray Pereira, original
Ray, thanks,
killer
Ray.
Ray Pereira from Houston.
Stephanie, Ray.
That's where Florida State will be in early January, right? Isn't that where the national championship is? It's Houston?
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Stephanie, Ray's wife, who's an LSU fan, did the tomahawk chop.
How about
There we
that?
go. Good job. Thank you.
Look
There
at
we
that.
go. All right.
Thank you.
There you
Thank
go.
you very, very much. Seth with 20 more. Man, thank you. Thank you very much, Seth, and everybody else. I don't know, boys. I think we should round it up.
Yeah,
Call
I
it a night.
gotta
Get out here and
eat.
drink with the folks.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do that.
right. Let's be men of the people.
All right, let's give our predictions, though. I think it's the right thing to
Okay.
do. All right, so, Ira, I'll let you go first. Tomorrow night, the game ends. Clock strikes 0. Who's on top, and what's your score?
I got the Noles 38, LSU 27.
Okay.
38-27 from Ira. Corey.
First off, congratulations again to Dion on getting that first
Oh,
Power 5
Jesus.
win. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm the villain. I'm the villain of the show now. I had that guy's poster on my wall, Jeff, and he's a Benedict Arnold.
Yes, he is.
I will say Florida State 35, LSU 23.
35-23.
35-23,
Big
yeah.
defensive night.
You know, we did picks already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what I
just
said.
picked
What did
up
I
a
say?
new
I
number.
said something like that.
I know what I said, and
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and
okay.
reiterate what I said.
There were people in front of me when I made those picks.
I took Florida State to win 41-24. I think
Oh,
it's a
my
close game.
God. What? 41-24.
41-24. The offense is too much, guys. Too much. Thanks to Hooch. Thanks to Jay Pieper, our liaison. And thanks to Matt, the sound guy, Director Ben as well. Thanks to everybody who donated and participated. All the fans here.
And
We'll
Tom
be out here
Lane.
hanging
Tom
out.
Lane getting this thing together. Thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, T. Lizzie. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Go Noles.
Go, no.